Good evening and welcome for yet another Coffee Break Saturday today. And I hope you are ready with your cup of tea or coffee, ready with you to have a wonderful discussion today, this weekend. We have three eminent personalities today, and I will not go into details of talking much about them because we would like to hear it from the horse's mouth, right? So here we have a very interesting announcement to make today. My startup Yatra has signed an MOU with the ACIC GIET Foundation, and this is our first collaborative event with the ACIC DIETU. To represent ACIC DIETU, we have with us Mr. Sunil Punnethu, and he is a personality with wonderful dynamism. I was worried how I am going to introduce such a dynamic personality. I was going through his short bio that I had seen, and I was like, from where should I begin? He has his hands everywhere. He has been in corporate sector managing major events, major activities. He has been managing businesses. He has been also founders, CEO, and CSOs of organization. Where should I begin? I was tensed. But the dynamism of his personality is stuck in a very beautiful combination that I saw. This business persona is a very well sought after name in the startup ecosystem towards his contribution in social entrepreneurship. And that is where I was spellbound. And I choose to introduce him as an enthusiast in developing social entrepreneurship, which is the buzz in the business today. Sir, I would call you upon the screen to please give a short brief of GIETU and its activities as an ACIC.
Okay. Thank you, Smita, for that wonderful introduction. I'm not sure if I am, for that reason. But anyways, it's been a great pleasure to meet you all there. I could see there are a lot of participants here, entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and there. I'm more than happy and privileged to be part of this session. And I could see this kind of arrangement and collaboration will take it more further, and we can do some impactful, activities and programs together. Coming back to ACIC, it's one of the second flagship project by Niti Aayog and Atal Innovation Center, Atal Innovation Mission. The first was Atal Innovation Center. Now they are predominantly focused on rural innovation. So that's the reason they have come up with this innovation center called Atal Community Innovation Center. And we are predominantly focused on frugal innovation, social innovation. You can call it any innovation because that's the way forward for government of India. And they could see that the major problem lies and innovators lies in tier 3, tier 2 city. So we are strategically located in a state called Odisha, and we are part of Raigada district. We are in Gunupur, and this is one of the biggest university in East India, and they've been doing phenomenal work in social entrepreneurship. So that's the reason we were privileged and honored to host this center here. So I am Sunil. I am leading this center. I just joined 1.5 months back. Uh, Relocated from Bangalore just to see how much experience what I have been. I need to leverage it and see how this center could be, one of the center which would be able to bring a lot of IPs, support startups, and bring a lot of great innovations from this center. So we are a 4,000 square feet plug-in play innovation center with fabrication lab, makers lab. We also have a sector-specific labs which is being deployed here, and our major focus is on to do a lot of community outreach programs, going down to the villages, try to find some in a problem statement and trying to see how the students of the university would be able to solve those. So we also have a lot of capacity building programs on IoT, drones, robotics, and all the emerging technologies which we have. And as I said, like we are purely into SDG. So our focus areas is agriculture, renewable energy. We also focus on food processing. Apart from that, there is many such other activities which we are involved in. And more than happy if any of the startups or any of the innovators or any of the entrepreneurs having an idea would like to explore this center, we more than happy to onboard you. And I'm rest assured that if you come with the idea, we will send you with prototype. So that is where our facilities are located, and that's kind of facilities we have. Apart from that, we have a great investor network, HNIs. We have angels investors. We also getting some global partnerships in SDG space, which you will be listening very soon in coming months. So we are also taking a baby step as we are also a startup. So yeah, definitely, I mean, more than happy to interact with any of the innovators and entrepreneurs who's been part of this session. And yeah, and this is all about collaborations and co-creations. And I'm more than happy that Dinesh and Guru is there, and I think they are also in the SDG space and agriculture. I could see that they are doing a phenomenal thing. I think we could see a possible synergy and partnerships after this session. All the best, guys. Do well. So I'm looking forward for it, to hear you guys out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil. As I said, though he did mention that my introduction was not, something that he has worked on, but when he spoke, it was very, very clear that what I spoke was just what introduction I gave was just tip of the iceberg. Am I right, participants? So here we are with Mr. Sunil, who is our partner in this endeavor to strengthen ecosystem for startups. And yes, indeed, we too are committed towards sustainable development goals defined by UN, pursued seriously by the government of India. Indeed, sir, Odisha is a very, very smart market today with the World Trade Centers, the chain of ports, new ports aligned entire east. So we are looking east. Yes, one of the sessions that a couple of sessions that we had in the past a month have been focusing on look east policy, and we do still endeavor the same by having our MOUs chained with all the eastern chain of cities which we are looking forward towards in terms of building our ecosystem collaborations. And yes, we look forward to collaborating with you further and deeper in building a better startup ecosystem in a place like Odisha, where we have young minds, young, enthusiastic ideas, and implementable infrastructure already in place. So here we go ahead with our event for today in collaboration with the ACIC GIETU Foundation. Today we have two young dynamic founders whom I'm not going to introduce because we have another young Turk with us who is going to take up the screen from me. I welcome Saloni to come up and take the screen and introduce the speakers and take forward the event. Saloni, screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that warm introduction, and welcome, Mr. Sunil. I would now like to introduce two very enthusiastic entrepreneurs with us, Mr. Guru Vignesh V, the co-founder and CEO of Impensus Electronics, and Mr. Dinesh Narayanan, the co-founder and CTO of Impensus Electronics. So for the sake of audience, I would just like to introduce. It's founded in 2017, Impensus Electronics provides solution for harvest and post-harvest processes. So this smart system with integrated IoT modules helps users to monitor and control the parameters to help provide the right ambience for growing and storing. So how amazing is that? And without further ado, I would like to kickstart our conversation with Mr. Guru and Mr. Vignesh. So, my first question to you would be what was your moment of realization? When did you realize that this is it, this is the winning idea, and this is what I want to do?
Yeah. Dinesh, I'll go ahead and answer this question. I'll just give a short
I'm
introduction.
sorry,
Dinesh can also join in the middle. Yeah.
yeah,
Can you
I'm
hear me?
sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, Mr. Guru, but your voice is not very clear.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is it clear now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, first of all, thanks, Mr. Sunil. It's nice to meet you here, and we're also looking forward, to work with you on the opportunities that we have along with working with the responsible and sustainable development goals. So before starting, I would like to tell we also work on three of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Those are zero hunger, responsible consumption and production, and climate action. Maybe in this course of conversation, we'll understand why we say we solve these three goals. So to answer Saloni's question, yeah. It's not a very short answer, but to give you the idea, Dinesh and I are college mates, roommates during our engineering time. So we finished our engineering in 2013. I'm an electrical and electronics engineer. So during our college days, we used to discuss all these ideas of startups, what other companies are doing, how this technology works, all those things we used to discuss. But we weren't sure about starting our own company. So once we finished our graduation, I got placed in an Philippines-based company. So where I was working as a subject matter expert for in the electrical domain, and Dinesh was working from Mumbai. So I think it would be better if Dinesh explains his experience maybe next. So after that, even during our working days, we used to exchange our ideas. We used to look at the opportunities that is there, in the market. So what are other companies doing? How this company acquired? So we discuss all these ideas. So suddenly, what happened? We thought instead of discussing ideas, why can't we just go ahead and do something? So we just register a company first, and then see, and then take it forward. Maybe once we make our feet wet, we'll understand how to take it further. It's our responsibility, once we register a company and take it forward. So that's why we registered this company in 2017. And the important reason why we chose this agri-tech field is because of Dinesh experience. He has vast experience in warehouse automation. So he worked for a company in Mumbai, then he moved to Middle East. He worked there for a couple of companies, where everywhere it was around warehouse automation, storage of fruits and vegetables. There we saw a common problem. Especially in India, the problem is there is no like affordable storage solutions. When I talk about storage solutions of fruits and vegetables, typically people have 150 metric tons of cold storage or 500 metric tons of cold storage. So we want to decentralize this cold storage model and provide a better way so that they can increase the shelf life in a more organic manner. So in 2017, as I said, we registered our company. Then we started our operations from 2019. So maybe Dinesh can also give his thoughts here so that you can understand how we can do.
Yeah, so I just want to start with what Saroni said, uh, finding that winning idea. So, as per me, it is finding that idea and making it win. So we cannot just keep on searching for that winning idea. We have to fix on an idea and then make it win. So this is how me and Guru Vignesh started during our college days, and even after graduating from the college, when we were working in separate companies, we used to constantly bounce ideas and see if we can make it. And as Guru said, I have experience in warehouse and trade of automation after my graduation. So this gave me an opportunity to meet different people. And during all these times, I found a common problem where people wanted to store fruits and vegetables for a longer period of time, and they are not able to afford that systems. And if they can afford to make it financially viable, they had to make a big centralized cold storage, as Guru Vignesh said, about 500 tons or 1,000 tons. So this was the norm. So either people had to make a 1,000 tons cold storage warehouse where they can make financially viable solutions to increase the shelf life, or they could not think about it and just leave it at the farm gate itself. So we thought, why not we cannot provide a solution to this? So we just thought upon it. We just registered the company in 2017 and took that 2 years to identify the main technical problem, trying to overcome it and making it a product. And then from 2019, we started operations where we cater to this market.
That's very motivating to hear that such friendly discussions actually turned out to give rise to such a disrupting idea, which takes me to my next question. So I see you cater to two different areas through Impact Grow and Impact Fresh. So can you tell us more about how they work and what are the features?
Yeah, so when we decided to solve this problem in the agri-tech space, so the first thing is to identify the problem, and through that we understood that let's say by 2050 we need 90% more food, which is set by United Nations. And when we dig deeper, we understand that there is a problem in storing that food after harvest, and side by side there is also a problem of arable land getting lost to human developments. So once we don't have that arable land, there is difficulty in production. So we have a lot of mouth to feed also. So we thought we are in the agri-tech space, so why not tackle these two using our two brands? So we just took these two problems. We thought that we'll solve this, and then started having two brands for it. So this is how we started. So on the cultivation side, we provide automation solutions that will control the parameters in the greenhouse or polyhouse or even indoor farms. And the same parameters that are being controlled will be used to extend the shelf life in the farm gate level. So we have one sensor, a controller, a fertigation system. We monitor the temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide in the greenhouses, polyhouses, or even indoor farms. In indoor farms, we also control the lighting, and then the same temperature, humidity, all these conditions are used to extend the shelf life of the commodity at the farm gate itself. So this is like we provide a complete farm to fork automation system. I guess Guru can add more on this.
Sure.
You are on mute.
Mr. Guru?
Just a minute. I'm really sorry, I have some issues with the mic, so I thought I'll just quickly work on the. So, as you know, said, the platform we work on is called Impact Flow, where Impact Flow, right, maybe we provide growing solutions for,
I'm really sorry to interrupt again, Mr. Guru, but I think we do not have you very clearly over
uh,
here.
yeah, just a minute, maybe Dinesh, can I
Yes, I
just,
think better
I'll just,
now.
I'll
It's
just
better.
change
It's
the
better
earphone.
now.
Dinesh, you can just add the points. I'll just change my earphones with them. Just a minute.
Yeah, so I'll just continue from there. So we have two brands called Impact Grow and Impact Fresh. So with Impact Grow, we provide solutions that cater to the cultivation technology. It is actually not just an open field cultivation. We also provide technologies that can be retrofitted to existing hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics, grow bag cultivation techniques. And also in open field, we can do the irrigation and fertigation systems. So what we essentially do is to increase the yield per unit area with whatever technology is happening currently. So we just give a boost to the yield, and we also save the nutrient, energy, and water, which is key resources that is being put to cultivate. So once the cultivation is done, it is harvested, and then we try the problem of solution to store the fruits and vegetables. So what we do is we again control the temperature, humidity. These two parameters are done throughout predominantly currently. So what we do added is to control the gases. So we control the carbon dioxide, oxygen, we control the ethylene levels, and in case we also control the ammonia. So we monitor all these gases. We have filters which are modular in nature, a pick and choose kind of filter. So the user can select what all filters he will need depending on the commodity being stored. and he can start using that to extend the shelf life of the commodity. So we are seeing the results. Typically, 50 to 80% of the shelf life is getting extended on what is being stored today. So, for example, if you see apples, it is stored for 6 months currently, and with our systems, we are seeing it about fresh at the time of harvest to about 9 months. So this is the result that we observe with Impact Fresh. So this is a chain from farm to the fork till it reaches the supermarket, where we provide automation solutions to give value addition to the commodity that is either being grown or being stored.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh. Mr. Guru, if you would like to add anything to it.
Yeah, yeah. Is it working? Is it? Can you hear me now?
Uh,
Yeah,
I think it's the same, but yes, it's better.
Uh,
Oh, okay, okay.
Sir, I
Sorry
would
for this.
request you to move ahead towards the screen because that's the time when it is very clear. When you're
So,
moving forward towards the
oh,
screen, the
okay.
voice is very clear.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Is
Yes,
it?
yes,
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, yes.
okay,
yes.
okay. Yeah, sorry. We were like myself and Dinesh were working late yesterday night at office. I left my charger there. So I'm using my wife's laptop and I have some issues with the headphones and that thing. Sorry for that. So, yeah, as Dinesh rightly said, just to sum it up, what we do is we manufacture sensors and controllers that can monitor and control parameters such as temperature, humidity, and gases like carbon dioxide, ethylene, and oxygen, and use it for two different applications. One is for storage, and one is for growing. When I say growing, it can be a polyhouse farm, greenhouse farm, indoor farm, or even a conventional farm. We do automation in those two areas. That's it. No, I guess Dinesh explained it in detail. Yeah.
yes, thank you so much for such detailed explanation. I think we have a fair idea of what the products are. But then that takes me to my next question because these two are very different brands aimed at different people. So, could you describe this in terms of the target people who are your target audience? Because cost also comes in play here, right? So, who are you exactly targeting with two different brands?
Yeah. So as a company, we started with this Impact Fresh brand. It was we didn't have a separate brand initially. After post COVID, we started using the two brands. So with before having separated into two brands, we were a company that provides storage solutions. So when we started like that, when you look at the problems, is affordable storage solution, which I mentioned before. When I say affordability, there comes the cost aspect, as you rightly said. So when I directly go and say farmers are my target customers, then it will not work like that, because if you look at the statistical data in India, about 90 to 95 percent of the farmers hold less than 4 hectares of land. So there are small scale farmers, so they can't afford to have a cold storage, or they can't afford to have a very anything that is highly capital intensive. So that's where what we thought, we started giving small size cold storages. When I say small size, as minimum of storage of 10 tons, so 10 metric tons, to as maximum of 750 tons that we have done. So when I say small storages, so how we approach our customers is, it can be a group of farmers, or it can be FPOs. When I say FPOs, it is farmer producer organizations. So any farmer producer organizations normally will have around 50 to more than 500 farmers in a group. So they just put money all together and they just have a common resource or a common infrastructure to use. So we approach FPOs. So FPOs is one of our target customers. Other than that, distributors. When I say distributors, the people who collect all the commodities from the farmers and distribute it to the end customers. For example, there are companies like Big Baskets or Ninja Cart or Waycool, to name a few. All these people, they procure it from farmers, they hold it at some place, and then they sell it to the retail customers. So that holding area is what is a business opportunity for us. So distributors is like another target market. So talking about the other brand, which is Impact Grow, there our target customers are typically new age farmers. When I say new age farmers, the people who don't normally try this conventional agriculture. So if you look at India, there's a huge boom in this new age polyhouse farming, hydroponics, aquaponics, fogponics, they say. So there's a huge boom in India very recently. So that is where we see the opportunity for our business. So here what we do, as we said, we
automate all the process inside, from the fertigation to controlling of the ambience. We just give them an payback period calculation, return on investment, on what kind of impact our technology will have in their or their farms. So we give all those kind of calculations and convince our customers. So this new age farmers is like the target audience, I would say. Other than that, we also cater our solutions to conventional agriculture people who use drip irrigations, because the issue that here we are trying to solve is, if there is a soil, if you are growing a certain crop, you are in most of the cases you cannot grow another crop. Most of the crops need different combinations of nutrients, what we call as NPK. So certain crop needs a certain mixture of NPK, whereas other crops might need a different level. So what we do is, here we add up these nutrients, we understand the NPK level in the soil, we add the nutrients automatically to the soil, so that you can grow almost any kind of crop at any soil, or even soilless farming like a hydroponics. So these are the kind of target customers that we have. Yeah.
That was very beautifully explained, Mr. Guru, because positioning the product in the right market is very, very important so that it addresses the pain point of people who it is meant to. So now I would like to understand what has been the research process. So have you undergone any tests, or are there any regulatory norms that you have to comply with?
So we don't have as such a regulatory compliance because we work on the guidelines that is being provided by the National Horticulture Board. So in case of storage, the National Horticulture Board provides a guidelines on what should be the gas concentrations to extend the shelf life. And there are maximum levels that can be maintained as a safe for customer usage. So our systems and our sensors ensure that whatever gases are being controlled doesn't go beyond the levels that is prescribed by the NHB. So as long as we stay within those limits and do it in a more ethical way, there is no harm for the customers in consuming the product, and also there is no harm for the person who is owning the cold store or owning the product into selling those. So there is no regulatory compliance. In case of impact grow also, where we provide solutions for cultivation also, there are specifications as to how much of NPK, how much of the EC value, TDS value. So how much of these, how much should be the pH value? It is all recommended guidelines as per the National Horticulture Board. What we do is an engineering solution to implement those values so that the benefits can be translated to the customer.
Okay, and how do you think is this practice environmentally viable?
So environmentally, in case there are two three aspects to it. The one primary thing that we advocate is energy consumption. So if you take any gas controlled solution for cold storages, where you don't just do temperature and humidity, but also provide additional solutions to monitor and control gases, and compare them to our systems. So we actually make it 30% more energy efficient systems. So there is reduction in that energy, which translates to carbon footprints and all those things as per the UN guidelines. The second thing is, when you take, let's say, for example, indoor farms or hydroponic farms in a polyhouse, where we do our solutions for cultivation, the increase in the yield with reduced resources compared to what it can be without our system, the yield increase will actually help increase in production, which translates to food being available for all the people outside. So also, rather than just producing a higher yield or let's say bumper crop, we also store it, and we don't make price fluctuations in the market. So we even out the pricing and availability, so there are no severe price fluctuation, let's say in case of onions or even lemons just recently. So if we can store it, we can preserve the quality and also produce a bumper crop through our cultivation systems. We try to make food being available to all, and also we are conscious in energy reduction and all those other environmental familiarly solutions, so that there is no harm for the society.
Yeah, sorry to intervene. No, just to add a point on what Dinesh also said. As you rightly said, having an environment-friendly solution is something that everybody looks up to. So we very recently got recognized by UNIDO, which is United Nations Industrial Development Organization. under a program called FLCTD, which is Facility for Low Carbon Technology Deployment. So for which we have applied, and they have selected our company as one of the company to fund. So there we have presented them, and they have also agreed that our company solution has low carbon footprint compared to other solutions in the market, and they have funded us to deploy our technology at 4 different sites in India. We just completed 2 installations with their fund, and 2 more. No, we will be finishing by the next by the end of next quarter. Yeah, thank you.
That's very great to hear. Many congratulations to you and your team. And also, Mr. Dinesh, it was very assuring to hear about this, because when we talk of cultivation in artificial environments, so we generally tend to have a lot of doubts regarding it. So I think you cleared them very well. And that takes me to the next question. So when we talk about storage and transit storage solution specifically, so do you think the Indian supply chain is capable of adapting to this change?
Yeah, so there is a problem with transportation in case of fruits and vegetables as of now. So if you see the transportation for perishables, milk has the highest organized sector with in regards to reefer storages, transportation, and everything. With regards to fruits and vegetables as a perishable, there is a very less infrastructure in case of reefer transports. So even today, fruits and vegetables are transported in normal trucks at ambient degrees being 30 to 40 degrees at various geographies. So there should be a rise in reefer trucks where we can provide our solution. Right now, the solution that we have is to monitor what, other than just temperature and humidity, which is very prevalently available. What we provide is to monitor the gases while it is in transit, and what you say, just inform the customer of what temperature it was while it was in transit, and also provide storage solutions while it is getting transported. So not only we record the carbon dioxide, ethylene, oxygen, ammonia values while it is being transited, we also control it. We have filters that can be used without extra energy consumption inside the reefers. So even you don't have to worry how will I provide energy in case I am controlling gases while it is in transit. So there is no extra energy requirement for our filters while it is in transit, and we monitor and control both of them to keep the fruits fresh and preserve the quality as it was during it was loaded. But the problem is the infrastructure in India. There are very less reefers which can be used for fruits and vegetables. Predominantly, reefers are used for all cash crops, where the transportation cost will meet out their the product value.
Definitely, sir. And I think, yes, Mr. Guru, if we have some inputs from you.
Yeah, yeah. So I also just want to add, a story of a customer with whom we recently sold one of our solutions. So the customer is from Erode. He stores apples. He transports apples from Himachal through a truck. It takes about 12 days to 2 weeks, for him to transport that apples from Himachal to Erode in a very normal truck, where the apples are being transported in an ambient temperature. Ambient temperature, let's say, it will go to a maximum level of 42 to 43 degrees, and a minimum level of as low as 18 degrees or even 12 degrees in Himachal sometimes. So this huge variations in the temperature will actually affect the quality of the produce. So here, as a company, we don't see it as the problem with the infrastructure for the whole country. We again look it as an opportunity. So we are also working on solutions where we are also trying to provide solutions to you know uh, to transport these commodities in a normal truck. A kind of sachet is something that we are working on, something similar to what the silica gel looks like. You put that sachet in all the crates during the transport. It absorbs the excess gases. So this is a kind of a thing that is at the prototype stage in our company as of now. But we see, this is how the huge country like India with mass population normally has. So we suddenly will not have this kind of reefer truck transport like any other countries, maybe in the Middle East or the Europe. So again, as I said, no, we just look it as an opportunity, and we are also trying to provide solutions for that as well.
That's quite right, Mr. Guru, that this is an opportunity, and especially after COVID, we have all been faced with supply chain problems the country has been facing. So I see now we have a question from Smita ma'am with respect to the discussion we are having. So ma'am, could you please ask your question?
Sure, I have a question. It is not just one question, but two. They're linked question. So, first question is, sir, this is a very interesting product that you have designed. So, have you thought of exploring international shipments, uh, container shipment system, wherein this could be utilized at a larger scale? And the second question is, have you applied for patenting your product and algorithm?
Yeah. So when you say international, we have supplied our systems for cold storages and also for cultivation in Middle East. We have not done for transportation in reefer containers or trucks. So, when we provide the solution, we also typically a startups mentality is to look for Western countries or other countries to see how they are tackling this problem. So when we face this problem and we saw our solutions are also applicable to the Middle East and other no, North Africa and South African countries. So there we see an opportunity where the solution can solve their problems also. So that is why we export our systems to Middle East for cultivation in indoor farms. Predominantly there is indoor farms more than greenhouses and polyhouses. So our systems are there in indoor farms and also in storages where we keep now apples, oranges, kiwis, and also for bananas which are stored and ripened there.
That's wonderful to hear, sir.
Yeah, regarding the
Yes,
patent, I guess Mr. Dinesh missed to answer that. So regarding the patent, we have done the prior art search has been done from our company. So we have applied for that, and there are certain process that before patent filing. So those processes are going on. Yeah, thank you.
that's wonderful to hear, sir. It's so interesting to see such young minds coming up with a product and a solution which can be optimized and is equally socially enterprising. Thank you very much, Saloni. Uh, you can continue.
Thank you for your question, ma'am. So, we have discussed about the product and we just started discussing about the market. So, a lot of players have been trying to enter the market. Supply chain and global hunger have been fascinating problems for people to solve. So, who do you think are your direct or indirect competitors, and how do you plan to stand out amongst them?
Yeah, okay. So talking about the competition, if you look at the cold storage space in India, so most of the cold storage solution providers provide only the temperature and humidity control. So we have an USP of saying that we control gases inside cold storages. Even though there are few companies like GIET or Fruit Control who has a similar solution that works with a different technology, not similar to us. Of course, we don't want to say we don't have any competition. Of course, yes, there are few competitors, but those are not all Indian brands. They have distributors here. The main problem that they have with the distributors is they don't have a good after sale service. Other than that, it's high cost. So what we are an indigenously developed products. So what we did, we cater our solution in for especially designed for Indian market. So it is like, as I said, we have a multi commodity storage idea which most of the foreign companies doesn't have. If you look at India, if you go and talk to any distributor, he will say he needs a cold storage and he wants to store all sorts of fruits and vegetables within a single cold storage, which should not be done. So what happens here is we recommend him saying that these are the groups or these are the types of fruits or vegetables that you can store together. Remaining things you should definitely have another cold storage, there is another chamber. So we provide certain gas controls for this group, certain gas control for other group. So some things like that, we provide and we do it. So this is a kind of a very Indian style of doing it. That's where we see our USP is. Yeah.
That is very rightly said. They say the devil is in the detail, and you pointed out rightly so. So I would now like to understand that how will your business model, how do you think will impact the Indian agriculture and food industry going ahead?
Yeah, okay. Talking about Indian agriculture industry, as Dinesh, when he started, he said by 2050, world needs about 90% more food than what we need today. So, which is almost double the food than what it is being produced today. So, we need a right amount of storage, right technology for growing. So, both these things as we do. So, how we see ourselves, impacting the economy or impacting the way the Indian farmers or the Indian citizens are going to have is we just, as we said, we want to decentralize the cold storage facilities, as he said. So once you harvest the certain commodity, we want to make sure that commodity is being harvested in a more right way at the right time, graded and sorted in a more procedural way, then again maintained or stored at the right temperature before being shipped, during shipment what kind of gases or what kind of temperature. So this complete value chain, before it reaches your plate, from farm till the fork, as people say. So all these complete value chain, we see there is an opportunity for all agri-tech startups, and there are many startups working at separate domains. So once all these agri-tech startups can join hands together, there can be in one single solution where we can know it just almost that it is not possible to have zero wastage. Right now the wastage level is about 33%. At least we can reduce it to less than 10%. So that is where we were saying the, just to give you the data, the post harvest losses, when I say post harvest losses, once it is being cultivated, then before it reaches the plate, that area loss is called post harvest loss. If you look at India, the yearly post harvest loss value is about 93,000 crores. That is very very huge. So that is something that we want to reduce so that government can utilize that money at some better area, no to empower the rural people or to improve the livelihood of people who are in needy. Yeah.
So, in addition to what Guru said, I would just like to add a couple of points regarding the impact that you asked. So, through our systems in the agri-tech space, I think the impact that we want to also provide is through the cultivation systems. We want to reduce the stress on the soil. So, if there is any hydroponic farm or any soil-less cultivation farm, we can ensure that there is no, rampant addition of fertilizers or unchecked use of fertilizers. So we don't want to add stress to the soil. We don't want to make it barren if it is a predominantly used fertilizer and all those things. So we want to preserve the soil as it is. In the same time, we want to increase the yield from that same agricultural space without stressing the soil. So once there is more yield, so there is no need to panic, when there is any increased yield or bumper crop, saying the prices will, crash down and there is no economic returns. What we want to also impact is the price rise or the price fall after there is an increase in yield through our storage systems. So what we do is we even out the yield, we even out the storage space, and we also ensure that there is a constant pricing, fixed pricing, which doesn't fluctuate so much for the customer. So there is, there is availability and also there is affordability for the people. So this is a social, impact from our systems in cultivation and through storage.
Thank you so much for that elaborative answer. And that's a very positive outlook, I would say. And with many other entrepreneurs like you joining hands, I see the future you are imagining or the goals you have set can definitely be achieved. So we are close to exhausting the time we had. So I'll just take one last question for you. Mr. Guru and Mr. Dinesh, what are your plans of scaling up, and what more innovation are we going to see from you in future?
So yeah, talking about scaling up, our company very recently got funded. So we are right now in the scaling up phase. So there are different areas that we are right now looking on, and transit solution is one among them. Other than that, there is something called mushroom cultivation is something else that we are also working on. So the impact grow solution, which we explained, where we control all the parameters to grow plants, that same environment can be given for growing mushrooms. Post COVID, we see there's a lot of inquiries for mushroom farming. Suddenly people realize mushroom has some medicinal values, especially milky mushrooms. People think there's a medicinal values, but the problem with the mushroom cultivation is we cannot have the year-round, all 365 days cultivation. So with our kind of technology, you can have all 365-day cultivation with the mushrooms as well. So these are the areas that we are working on right now. But as a company, how we see, we want to be there in all the supply chain areas, all the value chain of from the farm to the fork, where we make sure food is available and affordable to all strata of the society. So that is something that that is one of our mission of the company itself. Yeah.
Yeah, so as Guru said, in the cultivation, we cater to mushrooms. In the impact fresh side, where we store foods, we also want to explore storing of fruits, vegetables. Other than that, flowers, storing of flowers, grains is one more area that is interesting. So flowers, grains, and all other allied sectors that is in need of storage and extension of shelf life or preservation of quality once it is harvested.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Guru, for answering all the questions very patiently and in a very detailed manner. So, I, on behalf of the whole My Startup Yatra team, would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude. And I'm sure the audience also has a lot to take away from this conversation. It was really interesting to learn about all the disruptions, and it was even more encouraging to see that the fundamental idea remains to help people, uplift them, and contribute to the society. So I would now like to invite questions from the audience. You can directly post your questions in the chat box or unmute yourselves. Please go ahead.
Meanwhile, I would like to make a small announcement. I would request all the participants to fill the feedback form. Your feedback is of key interest to us as stakeholders. Your feedback will make us better our services. Second thing, we would welcome all those new participants to join my Startup Yatra community on Telegram. So we have put the link, both the links on the um, chat box. So please fill it up. Yeah, Saloni, we have a question.
Okay, we have a question in the chat box from True Cars. So this is, Sir, will Impact Grow help farming done in my apartment and my community? Is it affordable to the general public who are growing for their own use?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So the thing is, as you said, for an apartment or for a community, that is definitely a great solution to have, rather than having it at your individual house. When you talk about apartment or a community, the common area that we get is huge, and also the amount of yield that we can get from the particular farm is also going to be more. And also there are many people who can contribute, to maintain the farm or to help you to select the kind of harvest that you want, all those things. So definitely impact grow solutions that we give have a separate vertical for apartments or a community farming kind of a thing. That is something very that looks very interesting for us. Even we discussed with other guys a couple of years ago. So we see there's a huge opportunity for that. To answer your question, yes, it will definitely the solution can be implemented in any of the apartment or the community. So Dinesh, if you want to add anything, you can do.
Yeah, it's the same as you said. Rather than having, hydroponics farm or for an individual house on an individual level, if it can be done for a community or a gated community, let's say, the two things is it can be financially viable, and the yield can be a substantial yield that can be used for the community itself, and then there will be people who can contribute to maintaining it and growing it. So rather than individual houses or apartments, a gated community or community centric farming model will actually help people.
Thank you for that answer. Do we have more questions from the audience?
Uh, Hello everyone, I am Shravani and I would like to ask a question. Uh, so
Yes,
I
Shavani, you may go ahead.
so I was going through your social media profiles and I could see interesting content put out there. For example, the veggie tales and the pictures of your interaction with farmers. So how do you plan on using social media to your benefits?
Yeah, so talking about the marketing, especially the social media marketing part, we are very active in LinkedIn, but not in any other form of social media as of now. So because we see we can create an impact to the users of LinkedIn rather than putting it in any other social media. But I might be wrong. But we are very predominant in LinkedIn, and we are also getting some inquiries. Sometimes people doesn't understand the basics of uh, fruits and vegetable storage. That's where the idea of this Veggie Tales was born. If you go and look at our LinkedIn page, there's a series going on. We just till last week we released the 3 episodes of Veggie Tales, where it is a conversation between a mom and a son, a kid, a small kid. So we just want to make sure in this series the things that we explain is such a way that even a small kid can understand with the storage part. Very soon for growing also we have planned another series. So these are the kind of marketing campaigns that we have planned so that we can also create awareness among the users who are looking for solutions like this, and also we create awareness on what is happening right now, what is the more organic way of doing it, so all these things. Yeah, thank you. And also, I see the other question in the chat box from the same person, two cards. That is, do we need it as we consume shortly after harvest? Not necessarily. So it depends. So what normally happens is here you have to plan in such a way that you get harvest all day a week or all day a month, something like that. You need to plan, because typically why we don't suggest it for the individual house users is, if we have a very small setup, if you put up a seed and you allow it to grow, once like after 7 days, once it is grown, you cultivate it. For the next day, you will not have anything to cultivate again. So you have to plan in such a way that you consume it daily. So we provide that kind of consultancy as well. Whereas to answer your question, it depends upon the crop. If it a greens, for example lettuce or broccoli or whatever it is, it can be stored for like 2 to 3 days. If it is any other crops, that can be tomatoes or chilies or something like that, that can be stored like how you have right now, with the fridge that you have in your house. You can use it something similar to that. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yes, Sanskar.
Yeah, my name is Sanskar, and my question is, so as we can see, technology is really booming for us. So, when we talk of data and analysis, so data security is also one of the challenges we face. So, how do you think data security concerns your business?
So in terms of data security, so as you know, all our systems are integrated with IoT. So in terms of data that we provide alarms, we provide the analytics and all those things. So the predominant user community of our systems is farmers, FPOs, and distribution companies. And for them the data security is not of a very high priority thing. Whatever data that we send is only of the parameters that are being stored inside the cold store, or in case of impact grow, it is the parameters of the farm that is controlled. So the data can be just like temperature, humidity, what was the nutrient used, how much water was consumed, and all those things. We usually use an IoT server that has all the basic data security measures, and through that cloud server only we provide through the app all the data for the customers. But there are no keen, high pressing issue regarding data security for the customers regarding us.
Thank you for the question, Sanskar. We'll just wait 2 more minutes to see if there are more questions from the audience, if that's fine, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So may I? Uh, so how did you come about, entering into the space of social enterprising? Why social enterprising?
Okay, so that's an interesting question because when we started, we just started the company at our residence in Madurai. Then we shifted to Chennai. So we have a mentor, Mr. Ravichandran Purushothaman, who's the president of Danfoss India. So when we met him, so I guess that can be a little takeaway kind of a thing from the entrepreneurs who are there right now who aspire to become an entrepreneur as well. Having a right mentor actually helps you in many ways. They'll definitely help you to choose the right path. They'll definitely help you in a way how you can arrange position your business, the business model and everything. Okay. So when we met him and we spoke saying that we are planning to move to Chennai, other things, he recommended us where to move and all those things. He recommended us to look at this UNSDG. That was very simple. We didn't even think about that very initially. Just look at United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and see, what all problems that you can solve. We thought, okay, it is just a point that he's saying, but when we started doing it and we started positioning our product with these all these sustainable ideas, the way in which the community see our company has changed. Actually, we got recognized by UNDP before, which is United Nations Development Program, now UNIDO. So these things, we really thinking in a more sustainable way is what is the future is going to be. It's all about win-win situation for everyone. It's not like I'm going to become a monopoly, so I'm going to kill you, so you have to do this, do that. No, no, no. It's all about we are joined together, go and fight if there is any issue together, and we will provide a solution for that. So more sustainable way is what is the idea behind every startup. Even we speak to, where we are in a couple of communities where we speak to against our startup entrepreneurs. Everybody is concerned about this kind of social impact. What kind of social impact they provide, to the community or to the environment. So I guess that is something that is very interesting. Everyone has to look up to. Yeah.
I think I just saw a glimpse of Indian gentle tiger. That's a phrase of the Indian expansionary business expansionary policy in the international jargon. So I just saw that in the youth of today's India, enterprising and still keeping to the values of core Indian values. Thank you very much, Saloni. All yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. So we have one more query by Mr. Girish in the chat box. He wants to know about the costing of the products.
Yeah, okay. Normally costing depends upon the requirement, but I just give you a number, because mostly people start talking about costing whenever it comes. So talking about the storage solution, if it is 20 feet by 8 feet by 8 feet, which is roughly a size of a container, where you want to control temperature, humidity, and gases, that gives you a rough cost estimation of about 6 to 6.25 lakh rupees. So this will be give you a payback period of around 16 months if you store Apple. So the consideration here is Apple storage. Again, for the fertigation side, if you want an automatic nutrient dosing system for the farms, if the irrespective of the farm size, normally depends on the farm size as well. Maybe so let's say the farm size is 10,000 square feet, for example. 10,000 square feet, the fertigation solution will cost you roughly around 5 lakh rupees, maybe. So that will give you a payback period of 13 months, considering chilies, I guess. Dinesh, is it chilies or what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
chilies.
chili is considering 10,000 square feet, and you control the temperature, humidity. You monitor the light just because it is in polyhouse, and also control the nutrients and the ambience of lighting.
Yeah, this 5 lakhs is the cost of the product that we give. So other than this, the infrastructure cost is also involved, but we just give you the pricing of the products that we sell. Yeah.
Thank you for taking in all the questions, Mr. Guru and Mr. Dinesh. I see we have exhausted the time we had. So thank you everyone for joining in. And our hosts, if you would just like to share some ending remarks from your side. Mr. Guru and Mr. Dinesh, if there are any ending remarks from your side.
Yeah, we really thank Startup Yatra for giving us this opportunity to to interact with all these minds today. Um, and that's what today, if you look at India, we see there are 100 unicorns. So the startup is a very very buzzing word in India today, but it's all about once you start it, you understand it is not that maybe I can use the word sexy. So it is not that glamorous than how it sounds, before. It's all about putting in the hard work, reaching the market at time, to the right customers and everything. So it's all about the perseverance, I would say. So the confidence and persistence is something that is needed to everyone, in order to have a startup journey in India today. Yeah, that's my closing remarks. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know how many of the people who are attending today are aspiring entrepreneurs. So as a key takeaway from my journey till now, I would like to share that you will need to have a good idea. Other than that, you need to find a good co-founder who you can trust and work with for the next entire journey of your startup ecosystem. And we that is me and Guru Vignesh are first generation entrepreneurs, so we don't have anyone guiding us on how to do business and all those things. So if some of you are like us, you also need to find a good mentor who will also have satisfaction in seeing you grow rather than finding any advantages for himself. So you need to find a good mentor also. And then, as Guru said, there is a lot of persistence and perseverance. Whatever idea you choose, you keep on going it with it, and make that idea winning, so that someone else call you a winning idea. So you need to do that continuously. And even if it fails, we have a society who see failure as in something in a negative light. So even if you fail, you have qualities of an entrepreneur, so you can start again with a new company and make it successful, all the learnings that you have in the previous ones. So that is what I would say as a key takeaway from my journey.
Thank you very much, both our wonderful speakers for the day, and to Mr. Sunil, um, who had joined us today for sharing the MOU that we have with GIETU, um, ACIC GIETU. With this, we end our today's session. I know we have exhausted our time, but still, we thank each and every member who has been present today. Again, a small reminder: please fill the feedback forms in the chat box. Put in the chat box. It will give us a lot of valuable inputs to improve our services. Second, uh, we request all of you to join Telegram group for my Startup Yatra community. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Let's part with a thought that we grow if the community grows, and that is the Eastern ideology of the world. And take our own values and grow instead of mimicking the West. And with this thought, we close the event today. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend and a great evening. I would request the team to please close the meeting.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.